This. Okay, back to work. Should be a little bit more narrow. Hello. No, because this is not sexually gratifying. This is just moving a story. But we'll see what happens. She's not flaunting it. No, YouTube never took me down for anything. I mean, it's in their rules as long as it's not sexually gratifying. Which is super vague, but that's not what this page is for. Let's see. So this would technically curve under here. See how that does for a moment. It's back to normal. Tuesdays through Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Pacific time. I just took last month off so I could work on stuff. Yeah, we're gonna move this. So let's just do this so I can get a good view of what I want. I need to move this a bit. Actually, I can just do this. Okay, there are a lot of comics that I'm working on, and I can only work on one at a time with mild focuses on the other. I'm going to let my Patreon / Substar subscribers vote once more, because I had a previous poll about which comic I should work on, and Warning Creamfield was #1, but I'm going to let them vote one more time just to be 100% sure, because people have also expressed that they want me to continue the other comics. So I'm going to give them one more poll just to be like, alright, are we all on the same page here? And then go from there. But I can only do one at a time with mild updates to the others, so I'm trying to balance that out. And yes, I'm back. At a certain point, I'm just gonna have to start going with my gut on a lot of decision making and just be like, alright, this is what I want to work on. Even if the series is unpopular. Let's see, she's in a more well-off neighborhood or part of town. So, assuming she went to the same school as like Marcy, she'd probably be chill with Marcy. Not just because they're both heavyweight characters, but just in like a general sense. And there's plenty of others, but a number of them I haven't fully introduced yet. Like, I could see her being chill with Tree Star. Or Nepta. But she will likely never meet them. Just because they don't live in the same area. Yeah, after this comic, I definitely want to take my time more with other comics because I want them to be more detailed and such, but that requires more time being put into them. Like, up until now, I've been pretty much cutting corners on whatever I could for the sake of time, but I definitely want to get back into putting more time into pages. Because if you look at like some points in IHAT Volume 1, you can see a random spread of quality. Like sometimes Skylar will be more detailed in some chapters, and in other chapters he's a little bit more simplified. Like I still try to keep quality when possible, but there are situations where I change things up for the sake of time. Same thing goes for rendering. Weird thing going on with your feet. Yes, this is her final size for the moment. That's the best way I can put it without going into more on that. And again, if I do make a story of a character becoming skinny again, you guys just gotta, you know, accept those moments in time, because if I were to leave it up to the suggestions of the followers, none of the characters would be able to do anything after getting fat. They'd just be sitting around eating and that'd be it. It'd be incredibly boring. It basically falls into the same scenario that Tiffany was going to get in the original Chapter 5 for Volume 1. Because a lot of people wanted Tiffany to just get fat, be humiliated, and like take that as like learning a lesson, and none of those suggestions made any sense given Skylar's position. Because it's like, okay, so what? We're just gonna let her have the knowledge that Skylar can do that and not be a possible problem in the future? Because obviously, you know, if she were to tell people like, oh, Skylar can make people fat, that'd be like more of a rumor type of thing, or like a weird, crazy story. But then it's also going to stick in people's minds if anything happens after that point. And then they can all double back like, huh, you know what? Skylar's ex-girlfriends all had the same situation. And it's just going to double back on him. So it just made zero sense for that to be the case, especially if I went by how he is canonically, where Pepper had like the worst outcome, so it just didn't fit his character. Yeah, I know, but that's why you get the non-canon artwork. That's like the trade-off. It's like, all right, here's the stuff you guys want to see. It won't happen in the actual story, but here it is. Like, I like that stuff too, but I also like, you know, characters being able to do stuff. Unless I just want to make a character that's just an absolute slob and does nothing, then sure. But I don't want that to happen for every character that's fat. Same thing for the sumo suggestions. It's like, guys, just because they're fat doesn't mean they're gonna be into sumo. Especially if the character has expressed no interest in that idea. It's like, hey, here's a character who likes to write. I'm gonna make her a sumo wrestler. I'm like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm sure all of you would be mad if, I don't know, whatever favorite cartoon or show that you watch has nothing to do with any of that stuff, and then suddenly they're a sumo wrestler, or suddenly they're a robot, or suddenly they get turned into a cat, or change gender, or whatever. It's like, as a non-canon story, sure, that could work, but you guys just gotta really think about it. Oh, there have been tons of other ideas that people have told me. They've wanted characters to be the size of a planet. They've wanted characters to be the size of a town or city. So fat that they fill the room. And I'm like, guys, this can work if the story didn't, if the world itself did not matter. Like, if it's like a self-contained, like it doesn't bleed into any of the other universes or storylines type of thing, then sure, fine, we could do something like that. But if I'm trying to include this with everything else that goes on, like if I was going to have Caitlyn interact with Marcy, or like live in the same world as Marcy, but then the idea is, oh, Caitlyn becomes so fat that she fills the room and can't leave anymore, then she's just never going to interact with Marcy to begin with, for one. And second, okay, if characters can get that huge, what do they do afterwards? It's like, what would be Caitlyn's story after that point? One more question. Do you plan to use something like AI in any of your characters, like Marcy Blade? AI in what way? Like, what do you mean? Well, yeah, like for certain characters, I would like them to be more mobile because that'd be kind of the point. Like in Skylar's case, it's like, okay, he made Marcy fat. Obviously, he'd like to show that off, and you know, have his fun with his basically masterpiece. With other characters, like I don't know, let's just say Pumpkin Pie, for example, she's a total slob and will probably never do anything if she didn't feel like it. Is she mobile? She is, only because she's a demigod. But under normal circumstances, she probably wouldn't be. And then if we were to take the collector's artwork of Pepper into account, Pepper is stuck in the situation that she's in. She literally cannot go anywhere. And all we're gonna know is just like her inner dialogue of her situation, and then that's about it. Like, there's nothing more to expand on her other than her waistline. I'm imagining a true 7. No, Marcy will never know. I've thought of scenarios where she could find out, but it just kind of muddies everything and makes things more complicated. And like the character's better off knowing. Could I do a what if scenario of her knowing? Sure. But it'll just boil down to like basically Marcy helping a serial killer, but that's kind of it, really. Like Marcy's just better off not knowing, so that way there's a better dynamic between her and Skylar. Same thing for Blake. Her not knowing about what Blake does is also more beneficial than her finding out. Here's a question. How did you get... No, all I did was just ask him if it was okay for me to draw Hetty and use her in anything that builds financial gain, and he just said sure. He said his preference is that he thinks it's better for people to draw their own characters and not use other characters from other people. But that's kind of it, really. And I gotten his permission like a long time ago. I just hadn't had the time to put it into play until now. Like, let me see if I can find it. Where did I put it? Might be over here. Where is it? I know it's around here somewhere. Can't remember if I moved it into this folder or this one. Nope, not that one. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. He says, I think everyone has the right to draw what they want. Personally, I usually don't draw characters from other artists, as I think I can come up with my own pretty well, but I have no objections to that, especially if there is mention of my gallery, and he just gives me the link to his page. So yeah. So yeah, he gave me the go-ahead. I mean, I don't know him personally. I just know him as an artist. That's like kind of it. And every once in a while, I'll send him a message, either asking questions or voicing some concerns when it comes to his shift in media. Mostly just because the timing is so horribly chosen. That's why I would voice my concerns about that, but other than that, that's pretty much it, really. Like, I know he doesn't think my artwork is that good, but that's pretty much the most of it. But that's why I'm always practicing in general, not because of him, but just personally. I do know that I need to keep working on it and getting better, so I will continue to do my best. Actually, oh yeah, this will be fine. This over here, I think it'll be a bit closer. But yeah, I will do my best when I start working on the crossover comic. And be thinner. Well, thank you. I still personally think it needs work. I mean, that's just art in general, honestly. Like, art is always growing and evolving. But but yeah, I'll keep trying to get better. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well, having a good New Year's. Or New Year, I should say. Speaking of which, let's just have something a little more on the side going on. There we go. Let's put this on the side. Nothing crazy. Just something to look at. I need her arm. So I need to know how this works. Yeah, if you ever make patterns on a character that are just like random blobs, don't try to think that you're gonna be consistent with them. Like, unless they're like patterns that you can confidently copy and paste and they would be like consistent, don't even think that they're gonna be even remotely the same shape. Just kind of throw that thought out of your mind like immediately. Unless they're like a uniform design, just try to get as close as you can, but don't dwell on it. Okay, almost done with this part, and then we can get some coloring. Already got that one over there. And might be better to leave that alone. Let me see, how's her hair later? Pages? Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, I just need some of the aura being drained out of her. We'll just leave it on one side, so that way it'll look like it's just being removed from her. I think we're good. Oh no, you're fine. Every once in a while I just gotta go into stuff like that and clarify, because either people forget or people just don't know my response to stuff like that. So so just more that I'm just kind of repeating some stuff that I've said before. Yeah, that's true. So that's fine. But yeah, no worries, because there'll be times where I will even write down specifically how I feel about certain situations and post them up, or put them in like a journal entry or something, and people will either just not read it or not even know it exists. So it's just it's fine. It's just a way of the world. Every once in a while, you just gotta clarify things again. And it's like nobody's fault or anything. It's like I can't expect everybody to just know information. So. But it's definitely one of those things where I have to clarify of why I don't canonically make certain characters a certain size or make certain actions, because one, if it doesn't fit the character, then there's no point doing it, because like for example, you wouldn't have Goku suddenly use a gun. Like, it just doesn't make sense for his character. So, like, you know, just stuff like that. But yeah, you're completely fine. No worries. Oh yeah, well, there's that one. What was it about AI? Do you plan on using something like AI with any of your characters? If I were to use AI, it would have to obviously it wouldn't be the final step to anything. Like, I wouldn't just type in some stuff, get a picture, and that would be the end of it. If I were to use AI, it would have to. I would probably use it for, I don't know. Let's just say the base of something, like a starting point for an idea, and then build off of that. Like, I would, do it myself, or I would either get like an idea from whatever I find or generate or whatever, and then draw it myself and make whatever corrections that the AI picture messed up. Or if I use like AI directly, I would take the base and still make whatever adjustments that need fixing. Outside of art, the only time I can see myself using AI like from the get-go without much editing or changing would probably just have to be stuff that I can't like do on my own. Like, for example, if I was gonna make like animation and I needed voices and I don't have the money to pay actors, then I would use AI. But if I eventually made enough to pay actors, then I would purposely pay actors to make it more fleshed out and realistic and believable and stuff like that. So to me, AI is when you don't have the ability to move a project forward. When it comes to artwork, though, AI is a bit of a different issue, because you're not using it to try to, like, for example, if you're trying to be an artist and you use AI, you're not learning anything from using AI. You're only putting out an image that the AI generated for you, but it's not like pushing a unique idea. It's not representing you, if that makes any sense. When it comes to like voice acting and even like music, and maybe I wouldn't even say animation really makes much sense. When it comes to voice acting and music, music kind of falls into the whole, it's not really representing you, you're just kind of getting whatever result that you put in. Voice acting, I mean, there's only so far you can go with voice acting, because you're either going to get the inflections you want or you don't, or the representation of the dialogue or not. Music kind of falls into the same thing as art, because both can be represented through actual expression. So again, that falls into like, whether you can or can't do something. Um, when it comes to like the AI videos where you just type in stuff and you see like random stuff happening on screen in a film sense, um, you can't really tweak it to do anything else that you had in mind. You kind of just get what you get. So that's like another factor. But yeah, if I were to use AI, it would have to be like using it uh, as a blueprint for something, and not use it as the final product. So like even with like voice acting and music, as long as I'm not putting those things out individually as like a final of anything, and I'm actually using it to build upon a greater thing, and AI is not like the majority of that project or that piece, then sure, I can see myself using it. But outside of those factors, like on their own, no, I would not just put it in and then it's done, or type it up, get it generated, and then it's done, and be like, "Yay, I made something." It's like, no, I didn't do anything. But yeah, it at the moment is a very shifting subject because not all AI is bad, but unfortunately, the current use of AI has given AI a bad reputation, as well as a bad showing of how people will use it initially. Because let's be honest, if people can just use AI anytime they want, we all know that the first thing that's gonna happen is porn. Like, come on, we're not stupid. We all know that's exactly where it's gonna go. And then anything outside of that is completely up to people with actual skill. So like if people do use AI, we all know it's not just going to be prompts and it's done. We all know there's going to be like adjustments, clarification, editing, um, drafts. Like somebody might generate something in AI and then go over it to fix something that couldn't be done through AI. Like, you're gonna have people that actually know what they're doing use AI in the way that it was supposed to be used, which is supposed to be a tool. Like, it's supposed to be a tool, not the final product, which a lot of people, including companies, don't seem to understand. So that's how I see it. But I feel we are quite away from AI being viable until all that other stuff gets sorted out. Just in current day, it is not realistic to rely on it or think it would be used properly outside of actual skilled people. So, like for example, an actual artist that uses AI will figure out how to break it and then use it in ways people haven't um, thought of. And then at that point, that is when AI will be seen as more of a benefit. But we are currently not at that point. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, AI is perfectly fine for like to get your mind rolling, to be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. But if only it was like this, and then you know, make the changes to, or just draw it yourself. Like you'll look at an AI piece and be like, oh, that's not a bad idea, and then you draw it yourself. Like that's perfectly fine. Because it's just brainstorming at that point. And that's the same for like, you know, seeing anything else. It's like, or any other piece of media to give you an idea. Like that's fine, but then you do it yourself. You don't just look at the AI and be like, okay, yeah, that's my idea, and then put it out there, because that's not the same at all. Which is why you currently cannot copyright AI stuff to begin with, because it bounces off a plethora of other people's media or content. Or not bounces off, it actually just uses it and then pieces everything together based off of that. It's not making the image with intent, if that makes any sense. And I'm sure I'm probably explaining some parts of it wrong, just because there's likely stuff about AI that I just don't 100% know about. But when it comes to just like the initial like use of AI, that's where I feel that there's a range to it, and unfortunately, until, what's the best way to put it? Until something significant that involves AI happens, when it comes to artwork, music, film, and dialogue, then we're not going to see any major changes. Because so far, the only thing we've seen with AI that has any significant feedback has been like ChatGPT and therapy sites and stuff like that that use AI, or AI just gathering information and telling you whatever it finds, or what's the other one I had in mind? Or just, you know, replying to people through messages and be like, oh yes, we're sorry, like, oh yes, I'll, you know what YouTube and Twitter do is like, oh yes, we hear you, we are glad that people report on blah blah blah, you know, the typical bot messages that you would get. That's all we've had that has any actual feedback. But when it comes to everything else, nobody has crossed the threshold yet for us to figure out what is good and what is bad, and ultimately, like, we've seen examples of the negatives, like with people using AI for contests. Like, we've seen the negatives of that already, but nobody has done anything serious with it. So yeah, it's just gonna boil down to like something big happening in order for AI to have a position in society. Like, I don't know, you probably have to have like an AI movie made using Marvel characters, or like Marvel as like a factor in its data gathering, for, and then that being taken into court for it to have any actual effect. But yeah, rant over. At least for now, until something else of conversation comes up. I'm probably gonna have to make a thumbnail for this. If Caitlyn is on the front when this gets done, just so there's no issues. Because YouTube is pretty lax with some of this stuff, but if it's on like the thumbnail, then that's when they have an issue. Like even if the image, even if the video is fine with the nudity, they just don't like it on the front page or on the thumbnails. So I'll have to do something about that once I'm done. Just make like a quick thumbnail. need to get her mouth in some other areas, but I'll do that after. Hello, hello. And completely missed her hands. Okay, thanks. Next. Probably should be fine with this. Unless it's just really gonna bother me, which it is. So let's do it this way. Sucks because I will have to re-select all this, but it's worth it. There we go. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Ooh. Hello, hello. Welcome. Hey Frost. Yep. First stream of the new year. Technically this would be the first week. Yeah, this is the first week because there's still like 3 full weeks after this week. I thought it was funny and silly, but that's about it. Like nothing further to think about on it. At least Viro would not have any problems carrying her in a backpack if he had to. Well, if it was me, it wouldn't be Viro. But I understand what you mean. But yeah, we would just be chucking bottles at people, or at enemies. And it's like, oh crap, Becky, get him! Smack him upside the head with a bottle. Be like that one guy from Gravity Falls, just be like, get him! Get him! That's cool. Yeah, the more you throw, the less accurate. Like, you gotta wait for her to sober up before you can aim again.
The game's over.
Okay. All that's left is some background and effects, and we're pretty much done. I have to debate on what we're doing on that, but yeah. This can easily be a card in the future. Although I'd probably have to make it bigger. Huh? Oh, what's up? Sorry, I was so focused on the page. No, I didn't. Let me see if it showed up on this. Since it's Year of the Horse, will she be seeing any booty pics? Will we be seeing any booty pics for it? But, maybe. Yeah, it didn't show up on the YouTube side, so I had to look on the Streamlabs side. But yeah, maybe. Might see some horse butt. The gourd is new. It has not shown up on stream. It's only been around for like 3 pages. Maybe 4. In fact, I can find that out right now. When did this damn thing show up? Or how long has it been here? 1, 2... No, it's only been here for 2 pages. Yeah, YouTube's weird. When it comes to, what words are allowed. Or I wouldn't even say allowed, just censored. Because, I mean, there have been worse things said on YouTube. Let's do it this way. Cobra Lady. Oh, Jay? I'm assuming you're talking about Jay. If you're talking about this character, she's not a Cobra. She is a wolf. A wolf with very long ears. Anyway. Do this, grab this, do that. Try this. Delete. Okay, now how's it look? Yeah, could be better. Let's make this fade a bit. Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah. Hopefully this year I can get more character artwork done. Oh, excuse me. Okay, all that's left. All that's left is this and the dialogue, but I will not do the dialogue on stream. Oh yeah, I forgot to do that part. That's okay. First let's erase the parts we don't need. I'll have to go in here manually afterwards. Delete. Okay. Actually, I don't have to do anything. That's good. How bright is this, though? %. Okay. Let's just go put it back to 100. Oops, that is... Oh, crap. That's not good. We fucked up. Okay, we're good. Accidentally moved the whole bar. I was like, oh shit. What's your opinion on sci-fi shift scaling? What do you mean by that? Opinion on how wide and round someone has to be to immobility. I mean, I don't really have an opinion on it. You just make them as big and lumpy or round or whatever it is you want. I mean, that's up to artistic vision at that point. Like, you can make them skinny and still make them not being able to move for whatever reason. But yeah, let me know about the sci-fi thing, and then I'll call the stream for now. Let me just play some music on the side until... music. Something decent. We'll just play this for now. the short version. Like how much space is used. Like the size of a spaceship. I mean, a lot of the time, the size of the ship is usually optimized. Like, rarely are any parts of it like not used for something specific. Like, sure, it can be used as a scare tactic too, but you want to make sure it functions too. Like, I mean, obviously you do, because if you're in space and something isn't function proper or made to function properly, you're kind of screwed. But yeah, if it's like just big or sharp or whatever shape and size to be intimidating, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I mean, hell, the Death Egg in Sonic and the Death Star are just fucking round orbs, and they are still intimidating. So yeah, like, the shape can be whatever it wants, honestly, as long as it can also make a presence. So, like, for example, the what was its name in Evangelion? Hold on. Ramiel. Ramiel is just a giant diamond, and that thing was freaking terrifying for what it could do. So yeah, like, you can make whatever shape and size you want. It just boils down to the context and what it can actually do. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to call it for today, or for this stream. I will stream again later tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific time. This page is basically done. I just got to put in dialogue and sound effects, and it'll be up later today. But yeah, thank you all for coming, and I will see you guys later tonight. All right.